Experience turns customers into either advocates or warnings. Let's talk about this. Hello, my name is Tendai and welcome to the Good Name Marketing Podcast. This is a place where we explore how some of the biggest brands in this world and some of the smallest brands have grown, have scaled, and become the big brands that they are. So today, we want to be talking about customer experience as one of the main important points of how we can create a good name and a big name for ourselves or our organizations or our businesses, right? So first of all, an experience is what people feel and what people take with them after they've encountered either your product or your service. So first of all, we want to talk about the before, the during, and the after experience. So if you think about some of the big brands that you know, there is a common pattern in each of those brands. The customer experience, how you feel before you've used their service or their product, how you feel during, and how you feel after. Right? So I want to tell you a story of recently I went to this barber, and what he does is before you go to the barber, he gives you this form that asks you different questions of what sort of haircut you want, and many other questions that are incorporated into the onboarding form. So I would say that's like the before stage. And then that process kind of helps you to build anticipation, such that when I got into this barber store, I knew the time that I had booked for. That's the other good thing about the customer experience, how it was curated. It gives you even the time slot to choose when you'd like to come for your service. So as soon as I got into that store, he was actually waiting and ready to start shaving my hair. And then during the process, he'll be asking, okay, do you like this? What do you think about this? And as we are going along together, he's involving me in every part of the process. Then afterwards, he will send you a feedback form that you will fill. But before you leave the premises, he will show you how the back looks. He will give you some snacks to snack on, and he will also, he'll just be asking you about, oh, so how's your work going? How's this going? He even knows me. So that whole experience, you won't find it elsewhere. I know you might have a different experience with your barber, but personally with my barber, I wouldn't think of changing my barber because of that experience. So that's what we want to talk about when we are building and growing a name. It just doesn't become a name because you're good at branding. I don't even know what his logo looks like, but because of his experience, but because of the customer experience that he offers for customers like myself, I'm most likely to tell the next person to say, oh, you should try this barber. So that's what is incorporated into building good names. It's not just about marketing. It's not just about logos. It's not just about branding or the color palettes and things like that. But it is about customer experience, which is one of the elements we're talking about today. Whilst we're on customer experience, really, really good brands, they evoke a certain feeling. Good brands, they really make you feel something, right? So when you are creating your brand and you're growing your brand, we talk about building a brand because it's not just a once-off thing. It's not just like a logo design process that just finishes in like a week or two, and then you're like, now I've got a brand. It's not just posting once or twice on social media, but it is actually building and putting one block on top of the other until we get to where we're going. So how your customers feel, do they feel happy? Do they feel sad? Do they feel emotional? Do they feel confident when they experience your brand? Is one of the most important things. Think about Apple. I was reading this article where they were talking about how they've really engineered process of opening your Apple product. It could be a MacBook or it could be a phone. They've engineered how from the moment you hold that box and the moment you open each and every layer of the box, it's all engineered to make you feel happy. So finally, when you're engineering your customer experience, one of the other things to think about is the friction. So what does it take for somebody to actually experience and for somebody to actually enjoy your product or your service? So what I mean by this is, I remember there's this time when I wanted to book a certain speaker for an event. And guess what? They gave us this very long form that we even spent, I think, about 10 to 15 minutes trying to answer all the different questions that they had. And my experience with that was not the best, because in my head I was thinking, if you really want this customer, or if you really want to retain this client, you have to reduce the friction that they have to go through before they even reach out to you. And long story short, we even had to cancel that speaker because of the strenuous process that we had to go through to secure them. So this is one of the things that you want to avoid when you want to engineer a great customer experience for your brand. Remember, good brands, good names, they're not just good names because they claim to be, but because the customers or the clients have endorsed them to be good brand names. So what I mean by minimizing friction is you want to think about, okay, if it's an onboarding process, may it have the least steps possible. When it is a consultation, for example, just try to make sure that if it's just booking a client, they have to go through at least 3 points maximum. I remember I was reading about Amazon, how they've engineered their customer experience, their onboarding process. That's one example I can give you that does not have too many friction points. With Amazon, once you put your item in the basket, you just go straight to the payment method and select your payment method, and then that's it. You're not waiting for your product. So if all good brands did the same, I'm sure we'd have so many big brands. But I mean, that's why I'm here, to guide you on how we can create big brands and create good names for our products or even our services. And that it's not just about marketing, it's not just about the logo, it's not just about the color palette and many other things that we end up fixated on, but it's about the whole experience. And catch me on my next video, as we'll be talking about the next step, which I don't want to give away, but I'm looking forward to seeing you. Cheers.